Welcome to TestWord Teachers Tea Room. Here, you will learn useful tips on how to teach with TestWord textbook to achieve the learning objectives in the curriculum. Join us for today's session on
Book Review, Super Mathematics for Basic 5 and 6.
Now let's start. TestWord Super Mathematics Review. I have the book 5 and 6. Super Mathematics is a very appealing text workbook that can stand the test of time, both at a peculiar time like this and beyond. I think a lot of people have attested to that today. It's a book that contains a great deal of interest both to the teachers of mathematics and to the reasonably numerates. By numerates, I think you know what people that are, they don't even know. For a layman, when you look at it, the language is so explicit, very simple, not complex. Okay. Both the text and the workbooks can be likened to manuals. You know what manuals is? Just like the church manual. You pick one day and you look at it. You can refer to it even when you need anything to do. They contain a full practical application of width and height in every case of study. The chapters and content are self-contained, full of extensive explanations, worked example, huge numbers of exercises and challenging problems. They are called from standardized and well-oriented. I was looking at it as British standard before, looking at only British curriculum, but at a point, I saw that it was all encompassed. We have the British embedded with the Nigerian curriculum. The content, the topics are well arranged, objective-oriented. That is the real thing that really fascinated me. At every chapter they wrote, they put the objective to be achieved at the end of it all. Fantastic. Somewhat free of complexity as regards the language used. However, I think there is need to introduce starters. I was expecting that. In those days when we were in school, forgive me, I went to one school in the village like that, but I'm still proud of the school till today. But I remember in those days when we enter the class, the first thing we do is to have a mental drill. We call it mental songs that day. What does it do? It arouses children's interest. It unites the home with the school at the same time. It's like a transition from home to school. So when you get to the class, whether you're hungry, maybe you have been scolded at home, and when you get to school and see something like, 2 times 3, that's what's learning, you'll be jumping up. You even forget maybe they just beat you at home, and when you get to school, you forget everything about it. So I still love to say that, if possible, when we are reviewing the book. I think there is need to introduce starters in form of related mental drill. Like I always tell my colleagues, the mathematicians, when we look at a subject, if I'm going to teach place value, I'm not expecting I want to teach place value, then I expect the mental drill to come from multiplication tables. It's not related. So we should look at it very well. The form of related mental drill for every concept to help teachers to leave the realm of instructional approach. You know this book, when you look at it very well, teachers, it's as if teachers don't even have work to do again. You have done the work for them. So I want teachers to leave the realm of instructional approach suggested by textbook to explore the intuitive ability of the learners. Very key. Hence the need to accommodate more logical, challenging problems, challenging word problems that will engage the learners and to boost the learner's instinct. Emphasis should be made on the need for enrichment activities for the successful. You know, in a class situation, when we talk about the different intelligences in the class, there are some that we call the successful. Every time I come first, so nobody can take it away from me. You know, there are some people like that. You give them all the sums that they get it. You put it on the board of the class, they will go, under 2 minutes, they're done. It's as if and you begin to look at yourself, you assess yourself, you evaluate yourself. Does it mean that I don't even know what to do? That is the enrichment. The enrichment activities must be for those people. And not only that, and they have to get learners. Like as hard to get learners, those are people that are here, like, you know, we call them the slow learners, but they are challenged learners. Okay. Hence, there should be room for differentiation in activities given. Consideration, particularly on the 2 domains of concepts, should henceforth be examined. When we talk about concepts, we look at the formal and the personal concept. What do we might mean by the formal? When I'm talking about mathematics, what is acceptable by the mathematicians in my community? That's the formal one. Then when we talk about the personal domain, we are talking about the individual interest in that book. So those two things must be addressed in any book we write. Please. The learner's supplementary materials in form of super math workbook would have been self-sufficient for learners if well-guided solutions are provided. Pardon. Fantastic book indeed. I looked at the workbook and I was looking for answers to those questions. At the end of it, they can still be questions. Yes, answer book. I would like to applaud the writer's efforts of moving beyond the unit counting methods, so ubiquitous in schools, to developing a greater degree of automaticity in executing the 4 arithmetic operations. I enjoyed it. You did a lot of work doing that. I also like the fact that the workbooks consist of exercises which are mostly repetitive and also contain numeric activities designed to consolidate concepts that have been taught. There's a particular book in the US, in New York, Kumho. I don't know whether we're familiar with Kumho. It's just like that. I looked at it as a manual. This book can be likened to Kumho in a way. The only thing is that it was not structured like Kumho. You know, Kumho will take you to another stage in US. If you pass book 1, that's when you can graduate to book 2. And I like it that way. A mention should also be made of the fact that contextualized word problems are provided at the end of workbooks as formal assessment tasks, but can further be extended by making achievement strands in form of diagnostic text periodically. What do I mean by that? We don't have to wait till the end of the term or till the end of the book to evaluate the children. It can be in strands. After 6 weeks, at the end of midterm break, at the end of like 4, 5 chapters, then we can assess whatever the children have learned. This could be in form of pre and post tests to evaluate some mathematical skills acquired within a time frame of work and not waiting till the end of the lesson. There should be a clear-cut difference, I've said that, between assessment, enrichment, and remediation exercises to address or better still accommodate learners' intelligences. Now, looking at the book, you have 5 textbooks. You have 5 textbook pages. Chapter 1 and 2, I looked at it. It's all about number notation, but I discovered that much emphasis is not placed on the relationship between the digits in a particular number. I have taught math for 34 years now.
If you have enjoyed the session, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel at Teachers Tea Room. Thanks for watching.